Now and then it keeps you running, never seems to die. Trail spent with fear, not enough, living on the outside.
What made you get into this?
I enjoy it, I guess. That's the best thing I could say. It's something I've done other things. I've worked for large corporations and not so large, and always kind of knew I was hoping that I would be my own boss someday. So now I go to bed with my problems and wake up with them. I feel like I have a real good relationship with all my neighbors that aren't organic farmers, and there's a lot of small organic farmers in the county, but there's not a lot of large-scale organic farmers. In fact, I can't think that there is any. But I'm smaller than the guppies that are in this pond in the big picture, really small, and that's fine. I'm not out to be the biggest farmer. I'm more concerned with just being a quality farmer, you know.
There's a lot of people that are drawn to this place because of quality of life, but also the quality of discourse. And the city of Boulder, which is in Boulder County, was the first city in the world to tax itself to purchase open space, because it recognized the importance of protecting these open landscapes in perpetuity. And so Boulder County finds itself in the center of this debate, and it'll be up to us here locally to see if we can actually sort of lead the parade of jurisdictions in America that say no to GMOs.
So as a culture here, we have just come to love our food, and we want to know where it came from, and we care about how it was raised for both health reasons and social justice reasons. Now in the GMO front, that brought together, in particular, two things that people in Boulder care about. Open space, which is land that's been purchased to remain more or less native, or, at least, we farm a lot of it. If it's out east and it was farm country, we save it so it can never be anything but farms. Try to keep that, sprawl from happening. And food. Those two things came together when we were trying to decide if our open space lands could be farmed with GMO crops.
I mean, Boulder has started to create this impression, an image, and almost a brand about natural food products. And, we pay for open space with our tax dollars, and we don't want GMOs on open space land. And, that's something we can control. And if we want to continue to build the Boulder brand and, make it a place where people, think these are some of the most innovative products coming out in our industry, it's part of our image, and we don't need to do it.
And when it comes to genetically modified organisms, I look at it and I just look at them as a product of greed and fear. And people will come to me and say, well, we need genetically modified organisms because we don't have enough to feed the world. And I say, well, that's kind of funny, because in America, we throw away 48% of the food that we produce. And then we don't need these things like genetically modified organisms. They have no purpose here. They have no place here.
We know the industry is famous for saying there's no evidence of harm, and they're right, because there is no evidence. No long-term human studies have ever been conducted, no prenatal studies, no pediatric studies. So we don't know what the long-term effects, what the long-term toxicity effects, any of this might be. And so, really what we've got is a situation where we have introduced something into the marketplace without any pre-market safety testing done by the FDA. And I think about, if we were to do something like that with a car, you just introduce something like a car without any pre-market safety testing, you would say that's absolutely nuts. But that's exactly what we've done with these new technologies and these new proteins that have been inserted into our food supply.
Open space in Boulder was a very special thing. Today we have over 75,000 acres of open space that the county has purchased. So it makes sense when you see who the people who bought the land, the citizens. Okay, they're environmentally very conscious. They're into organic food. They're into health. They're into nutrition. GMOs are not consistent with that. So since the citizens are the taxpayers who bought the land, they feel that they have the right to be able to determine how agriculture is carried out in this county. So it makes perfect sense that the vast majority of people do not want to have GMOs grown on the open space that they are part of the ownership of. What we see happening here in Boulder is going to mainstream itself into other communities when people become much more aware of this. And I think that in and of itself is going to lead people to begin doing the same thing that we're doing here in Boulder, is questioning our political leaders on why they're allowing certain things which are not supported by the community to go on.